Imagine this, you're a debut author and right out the gate you get a 3-book deal. Well, that happened to Canada's Danielle McKechnie, who just released her debut novel.
Otto Normal's Monsterton, The Disappearance of White Pine Beach, is about a young boy, 11 years old, named Otto Normal, and his mom, and they move to an island called Monsterton. The only problem is that they're not monsters, they are humans. And what ends up happening is Otto and his misfit friends, they end up going on a search to find the elusive White Pine Beach. And what ends up happening is one of their own goes missing along the way, so they have to go find them.
Congratulations. This is just such a moment for anyone. But to have your first book out, what are the emotions that you've been feeling over the last little while?
Oh, overwhelmed, excited. I think more than anything I've been feeling anxious, if I'm being completely honest. I think that this has been something that I've been working toward for my entire career. And the fact that it's actually happening at the age that I'm at, it feels like a dream come true.
And having people read it, I've already saw a little bit of reactions online, but actually listening to you read this book, what was it like to also tell the story in that way, using your own voice?
Oh, well, I didn't want to, but it happened anyway, and I'm actually really grateful that it did happen that way, because I was able to tell it in a way that I heard it as I was writing it. Our composer Evan Duffy has, been masterful in how he's been working on this. We've worked together since the book's inception. We brought Evan on the moment that we knew that we were doing this, because we wanted music to be as intrinsic to the book as the art, as the words. We very much wanted this to be a team experiment, I guess. So the audiobook itself has 2 hours of original score. We're going to be releasing a soundtrack. We're going to be doing everything about it to try and make this world as immersive as possible for kids.
It's so immersive, even if they just choose to read it. When we look at the illustrations on this, and I thought it was so interesting how the illustrations kind of also help tell different emotions that were happening. Can you kind of talk about that journey and how you guys used artwork to tell this story?
Yeah, okay, so the illustrator is Simone Estrada. He is a character designer for Disney. He's worked at Disney, he's worked at Jim Henson. I feel so lucky that he said yes to this project when I approached him 3 years ago. But yeah, we came into this together. So I wrote the book I wrote it as an audiobook, if I'm being completely honest. I wrote it in audiobook format because I knew we wanted it to be a hybrid book. We wanted it to be a book that kids could read but also get the graphics as well, because that's a big thing that parents have talked to me about. They've talked about how kids will always go to the graphic novels and they want the kids to be reading the chapter books. This is a blend of both. So we knew that the artwork would be what brings the audience to us. I mean, it just is. I'm a debut author. I knew that the cover, the art, the characters, it mattered more than the writing at the very beginning.
Debut author that has a 3-book deal already. Next one coming out in September 2025. With this book, though, what actually inspired you to write this story about Otto?
Okay.
I know it's a complex question, but here we go.
The creator came into my head about 10 years ago, and did I say the creator? The character.
Character, so yeah, you said creator.
Okay.
Yeah. Pick it up whenever you want.
Okay, the character came into my head 10 years ago, and I've sort of been sitting on it and the name Monsterton for a really, really long time. And I was experiencing a difficult time during the pandemic, and the job that I had was very challenging. And honestly, I had a moment in my life where I looked over at my daughter. I had a newborn at the time, and I wondered who I could be for her and who I could be for myself. And was I being the best example I could possibly be? And I wasn't. I wasn't chasing after something that I had longed for my entire life. So that's why I started writing the book.
How does that make you feel then as a mom who, went after this, you chased it, you've achieved it, and your daughters see you as this wonderful role model, and also for just anybody else? Because I already told you before we were rolling how inspiring you are for what you are doing and what you've already done.
Oh man, I don't know if I'm a role model. I try my best. I think that's sort of all you can do. I think a lot of people ask about authenticity, and I think that the only thing that you can try to be is authentic as you can. And I think even then, most of the time we're faking it. And I think I'm faking it half the time. I have imposter syndrome most of the time. And I just want my kids to see me as somebody that tries their best.
Her second novel will be released in September of 2025. For City News, I'm Lindsay Dunn.